Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for joining. Illini lose 71-64. First loss of the season for the Illini tonight. Good basketball game. Good college basketball game
Yeah.
between two ranked teams. So we're going to dissect what we saw coming up for the next 30 or so minutes. And we will talk a little foosball. We were going to talk last night, but we had some technical things and some other things come up, so we weren't able to get to it. So we'll end the show tonight talking a little Illini football. The rankings came out, so we'll touch on that for just a little bit, but it is going to be mainly basketball because this is the basketball postgame show from No One Asked Us. I'm Craig. That is Logan. Thanks for joining. This is live. Right now, some will also listen after the fact, but if you are in here live, thanks for joining. Hop in the chat. We'll read some of your thoughts as we do every post game throughout the show. Like I said, Illinois loses 71-64. A great overall college basketball game. I don't think the lead got to double digits for either team, so it was close. Neither team was ever out of it until the buzzer hit triple zeros. Illinois were unfortunately on the wrong side of the score when that time came. First thing I want to say, were you surprised Illinois was the favorite here tonight?
A little bit, yeah. I noticed that earlier in the day, or maybe it was yesterday. Actually, they've been the favorite for a few days, I think,
Yeah.
probably since it came out.
Yeah.
I was thinking the line might have changed, but yes and no. And I think this will kind of go into my thoughts on the game in general, but I'm not totally convinced. I'm not sold on Marquette. And I think Illinois is better than 23rd. So, yes, to answer your question, yes, I was surprised, but when it's all said and done, I don't think it was going to be that drastic one way or the other. So, yeah, I was a little surprised.
A lot of it had to do with Tyler Kolek, I believe. He was banged up. He rolled his ankle in their last game. There were questions if he was going to play. He was officially questionable game time decision. He did play, and he balled. He is. You said you're not sold on Marquette.
Sold on him.
I had. Who is it? Is it the Shaq meme? I have to apologize. I was unfamiliar with your game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew he was good. I knew he was a great point guard, but he got all the preseason accolades and the Big East preseason player of the year, and I was like, really? Big East is a good conference. Really, Tyler Kolek? He proved it tonight. He was outstanding. 24 points, 10 of 18 from the field, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. Illinois is not going to face a point guard like that the rest of the year.
No.
That talented, that crafty, lefty, got so smooth, such a smooth game. So I was very impressed with him. Cam Jones, 15 points. And Iguodaro, their big guy, had 13 points. He also had 8 rebounds. Cam Jones had 5 rebounds. Marquette shot 43.5%, 43.5% from the field for the game tonight. Illinois led by Terrence Shannon, 21 points for him, 7 in the first half, 14 in the second half. So a big second half from Terrence. 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Also had 5 turnovers, which we'll touch on. Marcus Domask has made his Illini debut. 18 points for Marcus. Not that he hadn't played well, but this was a fabulous game for Marcus. 6 rebounds, no assists for him, though. And then the only other Illini in double figures was Luke Goode with 13 points, 4 rebounds. He was 4 of 7. All of his shots were from beyond the arc. 4 of 7 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3. Coleman Hawkins finally scored 5 points for him. Ty Rogers, 6 points, should have been 8 points. Justin Harmon, 1 point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players scored tonight for Illinois. 6 total players for Illinois. 21 of 60 from the field for 35%, 11 of 33 from 3. So 33%, not a terrible percentage. Better than their season average last year and from their first 2 games. But more 3s than 2s tonight. That's my first point. This offense just has nothing. It's like the best offense we saw tonight was the playground ball. That 5-minute stretch where it was back and forth. It went from 35-30 to 55-50, like a snap of a finger. That was the best offense we saw. If you force
Yeah.
Illinois to run offense in the half court, it's going to be a struggle for the orange and blue because they don't got a lot of flow offensively right now.
And that kind of leads into the take that I referenced to you earlier.
We can do this now. Logan texted
yeah, go ahead.
First half, and I want to get this right. He said, "I have a take that's going to rattle the entire fan base, and I can't wait to unleash it." And I didn't hear from him after that. The rest of the game. This was at 8:39, so first half was almost over.
Yeah.
When we got on here before we went live, I asked, "Is that take still relevant?" So I will give you the floor. You can say the take if you want. You can wait until
it is still relevant. Now, as the game progressed and as the season progressed, I might feel differently. And I'm just gonna do this now. And we're 3 games in. I feel like the window is still open, but after tonight, the window is closing. Okay, for what I'm about to say.
Okay.
I do not miss certain players from last year's team that are not on the team this year.
There's a lot of them, so I don't know which one.
There's 2 in particular that come to mind.
Okay.
That were absolute instant offense.
Mm-hmm.
They were spotty at times, and they were problems in the locker room and everything else. So
Brandon
we've
Leap?
already touched on, No, not Brandon Leap.
Okay. Sorry, I'll stop interrupting. Go ahead.
It's Matthew Meyer and Jane Nips. I'll mention them one more time, and then we're done. I don't wish either of them were here, but I do miss the offense. I know first 3 games, Matthew Meyer didn't do much of anything, and we saw a lot of Marcus Domask tonight, and Luke Goode look better at times, and everything else. But as you said, this team is going to lack offensive substance. Terrence Shannon's game is driving to the basket, which is effective. How does he only go to the free throw line 6 times?
Yep.
This isn't about the officiating.
And all
that's
6
what you
were in
want
the
to get
last
into.
4 minutes.
I know, exactly. If you want to make this about the officiating, that's fine. I'll leave that to you because that is your bag. I'm just gonna how if that is your entire game, how do you not go to the free throw line for the first 36 minutes of this basketball game?
Yeah,
like that doesn't make any sense. So what I'm getting at is,
I will say,
I don't miss those players.
It was not the refs tonight.
Yeah, I don't know that it was.
I thought the refs were fine. There were a couple they missed, but that they didn't determine anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying those are 2 guys that were instant offense at times that I don't know that this team has.
Yeah.
Now, it's possible we see more of Dre Gibbs Lawhorn throughout the course of the season like he showed in the first game. We might see more of that. I'm sure we will. And obviously, Domask had a nice night. Luke Goode can light it up, can shoot well. And I'm not even talking about the 3-point shooting because we knew going into the season that the 3-point shooting was going to be an issue. But it's just the scoring in general. I'm just kind of concerned as we get to the thick of this season where the scoring is going to come from. Coleman Hawkins, from an offensive standpoint, has been non-existent. He was at least better on the defensive side of the ball.
On cue. Tonight. Jeff in the chat, on cue, right as you said that.
Coleman has to play better. Defense was much better. He did hit a couple shots tonight, but the offense from Coleman has been non-existent. We're 3 games into the season. We've hardly seen Dane Danger do much of anything. That's worrisome. I mean, again, maybe this wasn't a Dane Danger game, but Eastern Illinois and whoever else they've played in the first 2 games of the season should have been Dane Danger games, and he didn't really do much of those games either. It's fine. Like I've already made this way too negative more than it should be because Illinois played well enough to win this game up until the last couple minutes. So I think this is a pretty good Illinois basketball team. I'm just worried about where the points are going to come from at various points of the season.
With that, I know we're 3 games into this,
right?
So we can't overreaction Tuesday night here. 3 games into it. One of them, this loss is to the number 4 team in the country. So still a lot of basketball to play.
Yeah.
So I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
Is this what you were tweeting about?
We're going to move on. No. My thoughts at
don't press send.
Yeah, my don't press send was about players and
Playing time?
hoping that one of them might not have decided to withdraw his name from said NBA draft, but we're not going to press send on that one. There is a positive, not a positive to take from this, but there was a stat they showed, and this is kind of an overarching topic tonight because this was a top 10 team. The last 19 games against top 10 teams, Illinois is 12-7. They were 12-6 before today. The last 18, 12-6. That's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, it is.
That's it.
It
That's
is. I mean, no, like you're right. I mean, but a lot of that is the Big Ten, which Illinois has won the Big Ten or came close to winning the Big Ten the last 3 seasons. They had wins against Texas and UCLA would have been top 10 last year.
I would assume so.
Yeah. I mean, no, Illinois has been a good team, and I'm already seeing some of the comments alluding to a certain head coach. I'm not there. I'm not there. This isn't. I don't think this is on Brad. This is a good basketball team. This is a good basketball program. I did not expect to win this game. I'm not upset Illinois didn't win this game. I would have loved to have won this game, and I do think they were in a position to win this game. But while I don't think Marquette is the 4th best team in the country, they have the best point guard in the country. And if Illinois had anything that slightly resembled Tyler Kolek, they would probably be a top 5 team in the country. I mean, I mean that wholeheartedly. This team is missing just that type of piece, and I think they could be there.
You know what would have helped tonight?
A certain player not redshirting.
This guy right here.
Is that Trent Frazier or is that Sincere Harris?
Well, it's Trent Frazier. We'll say my jersey is Trent Frazier. Sincere Harris would have helped tonight, and I said it preseason when we were doing our short preview that we did on the season. We were talking about Sincere, what his role is on this team, and I said Sincere's not going to score for you. You're lucky to get 2 to 4 points out of Sincere, but what Sincere Harris can do, he has 5 fouls to give. Go be aggressive on the defensive end. That's okay offensively. Just don't turn it over. Don't make mistakes offensively, and just guard your ass off. And the example I gave a month ago was tonight. I said, put Sincere on Tyler Kolek and see what happens. Last week or 10 days ago, whenever we found out he was redshirting, I said Sincere would have been good to throw on Tyler Kolek. They just didn't have anyone that could they have no one else on the team that can do what Sincere can do defensively.
No.
Would he have been a difference, like a 7-point difference? Like, does Illinois win this game with Sincere Harris? I'm not sure, but he definitely rattles Tyler Kolek. He would have rattled Tyler Kolek's cage, and Kolek might not have gone for 24, 6, and 4 or whatever it was.
Yep.
So that could have made a big difference, but
I agree.
Didn't get it. So looking hindsight here, but like you said, it was a close game, back and forth. I don't know what the score was at this point. Let me see. But for the last 3 minutes and 13 seconds of this game, Illinois was 1 for 10 from the field, and they didn't. Or on their last 10 field goals, Illinois was 1 for 10, and they didn't make a field goal the last 3:13 of the game. So what was the score? When that
was 64-60.
Okay, so 4-point game. Illinois scored 4 points, all free throws, and Marquette scored 7 points, probably mostly free throws. But closing time, you got to have a go-to guy. Terrence tried to do it. Coleman missed a 3 in the corner. I mean, Ty Rogers turned down a wide-open layup. I know you were looking for a 3 because I think you were down 6 at that point.
Yeah.
So you're looking for a 3, but he had a wide open layup. Cut it to 4, go play defense or foul and extend the game. And they just couldn't do it. I don't want to call it a collapse. It was not a collapse whatsoever.
No.
Run out of gas maybe type of thing. But the last 4 minutes were just some not executed well for Illinois.
Yeah, and you'd expect more, I think, with, that's what we've talked about, or at least I've talked about, is the veteran experience on this team. And, you Those are the moments where you would expect those older players to step up and to do some things and to make the right decision. Ty Rodgers isn't in that camp. Ty Rodgers is a sophomore. But there are certain guys that you would expect a little bit more out of. Yeah, I agree. It wasn't a collapse, but it's still frustrating knowing that it was that close and they let it happen. So ultimately, does this game make or break your season? No, it certainly does not. Would have been nice to have at the end. It's one of those things that could affect a seed line type of situation, but there are plenty more big game opportunities ahead, including one here soon. So, just got to move on from this. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of things to take away from this game positively, but also a lot of negatives too that you could harp on if you really wanted to do that.
Do you want to take this, chat?
Tim Lee, welcome to the chat. I saw that came across basically as I was saying that same exact thing about how this team
weird. It's like you guys shared DNA
weird.
or something.
That's
weird.
Yeah, if Illinois had a point guard, anything that resembles a point guard, I think this team would be, in a much better situation. But they don't, and this is what we're working with. So,
checking some more of the chat. We've got
there's a lot of people in here.
A lot of people have things to say. I believe has been on the anti-Brad train for the last couple of years. He's in here tonight, but that's not what we're talking about here. Coleman has been in Illinois for half a decade, and he's still playing like crap. And then our buddy Michael, Coleman is trying too hard, not letting the game come to him and playing instinctively. I know Illinois is 2-1. They won the games they should have. They lost the game they probably should have. So it hasn't impacted the results per se. But this could be an issue. If Coleman doesn't figure his shit out, this could be a major issue because should be the second best player on this team. Has he scored in double figures in any game yet?
I don't.
Has he gotten double figures in rebounds in any game yet?
No.
You can't have that from your fourth. He's a fourth year senior. That has been in this program. He's not a transfer. He's been at Illinois. This is his fourth year. He knows how it's done. He's under Brad for 4 years. You can't have these kind of performances from that kind of guy and expect this team to do what they want to do.
I've already said it once, and I hope that I don't have to say it for far too much longer, but I expected him to take much bigger strides going into the season. I just figured going through the NBA draft stuff and getting the feedback that he did, I just assumed he would come into this season with a different perspective and know his role and all these things. And 3 games in, that hasn't been the case. Again, he was much better on defense tonight. A couple big blocks, had some nice rebounds, made a couple baskets. He had a nice night for a sophomore coming off the bench, getting 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Not a nice night for your, as you said, for your supposed to be your second best player. So, again, and as you mentioned, I don't know that, Coleman having a breakout game tonight was the difference, but it might've been. He is frustrating, and I know he's frustrating. I'm not on the anti-Coleman train like a lot of people are, but I understand it, and it's not a wrong take. He is a frustrating player, and you just have to think that he would be better at this point. And so far this season, he has not been that case at all.
4.67-ish points per game, 6.3 rebounds per game. Has not scored in double figures, has no double figure stats, and he is 1 for 7 from 3 so far this season. So Coleman Hawkins needs to show up soon for this team. Is Tennessee the game you were mentioning? Or
both Tennessee and Florida Atlantic.
Oh, yeah, Florida Atlantic. I forgot about Florida Atlantic. Yeah. Okay, some more chat here. We can just touch on this real quick. Brad's mediocre. I'd expect better for one of the highest paid coaches in college basketball. I mean, Brad has his flaws. I don't think. I think the reaction right now is he didn't get a point guard. Like that. That's
Yeah,
what this
that's
boils
fair.
down to. It's just the fact that he didn't get a point guard in the offseason. So that's gonna expose some things, and that's gonna be a talking point all season, all 35 games. We're gonna talk about the lack of a point guard, unless someone steps in and plays like a point guard. I don't. I unless Illinois goes under 500, below 500, like Brad's seat's not going to get hot. So
Brad's
we can put
one
that
of
to
the
bed.
most winningest active coaches in the Big Ten right now.
Yeah.
I mean, not named Tom Izzo. Like he's just, I mean, I understand it. He hasn't. It's the point guard situation. Hasn't won in the tournament. Yada yada yada. Whatever. True. All things are true. But you had John Gross for. You want to go back to that? Like what?
Yeah,
What do you
right.
want? Like what? Who? Who is coming to Illinois that is worth firing Brad Underwood for? Like I'm not there. I'm not there.
Yeah, way too much for me to replay. We've seen that from Illinois for so long. That is where I see a lot of deficiencies in Brad. I don't think he's a great X's and O's coach. And the most successful team he's had at Illinois, he had Steven Gentry on the sideline, who is a great X's and O's coach. I don't know that
Well,
any of his assistants are superb at play
that's
calling and drawing up plays like Steven Gentry was for that IO season.
it's true. But I think Brad has had to change how he coaches these teams too.
Totally.
These teams have changed year after year after year, and you go from, Brad's style was always run and gun, and then he kind of he has Kofi Coburn just falls into his lap. Like you have to you have to you have to accommodate that. He's one of the best players in the country for however many years, and now you are trying to change again, and now you're trying to it's different every year, and I know that that's the same for every coach, but yeah, and you're probably right. I don't think he is the best of the X's and O's stuff, but I just think that the situation every year has been different. Now you can say last year to this year is probably less different, and he still hasn't really figured some of that stuff out, but I agree. The X's and O's is a problem.
Something I did like tonight, and I stopped paying attention to it. Early in the game, I feel like Marquette was playing a little zone, and every possession, Illinois got at high post.
Yeah.
Every possession, either Coleman or Quincy, someone in the high post got a touch, which is progress, because last week against Oakland, they barely did that until late in the game. Brandt in here with a good point that I forgot to touch on. Terrence and Coleman combined for 10 turnovers tonight. I think the rest of the team had 5 combined, and Marquette had 8 total. Yeah, that's not what you want from your 5th and 4th year seniors. So, okay, we probably need to move on. We're already almost 30 minutes in here. We always do everyday guy of the game. Who do you have tonight for your everyday guy of the game?
I mean, I'll just claim Domask. That's the obvious choice again. Obviously, we can always say Terrence because he's going to put up 20 points per night. But yeah, this is what Marcus
That's
Domask.
not what this award's for.
Exactly.
It's not for the highest plays. For who
it's
played
not.
the
At some point, we have to give this award to Terrence Shannon Jr.
Yeah.
But tonight, I will choose Marcus Domask. I said it 2 weeks ago. Marcus Domask is the most important player on this team, not named Terrence Shannon Jr. And tonight, he finally showed it. He had a moment. I loved, and I retweeted it, Michael Tulip's tweet of Marcus Domask in the moment, realizing he is that player. And he needs to be that player at this level, and he can be. So you really kind of saw that from him tonight, and Illinois really needed him. If Coleman Hawkins isn't going to score the basketball, and I don't want to harp on Coleman. Coleman doesn't need to be a 15-point per game scorer. There are other guys on the team that can score the basketball. He can do other things, but the fact that Marcus Domask realized tonight that he can be that guy, I think it's going to be very, very beneficial as the season progresses. He's a facilitator. He can score. He can shoot 3 for 7 from 3, 6 rebounds. Like that's a nice night for a mid-major transfer. So we will continue to see more and more of this as the season progresses. But yeah, easy answer for me, Marcus Domask.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Yeah, analytics loved him too. Efficiency, he was 19, that's the add up the good and subtract the bad. That's the efficiency, which is 19 was the highest on the team. Highest in game score, which is on a scale of 1 to 40. He was 14.8. You rarely see anything higher than 20 or like 15 to 20. And net points, he was 4.9, which is good. Most of everyone else was negative in net points. So, yeah, great showing from Marcus Domask tonight. I'll go with Luke Goode. A career high for him, 13, 4 threes, and a free throw. This is the Luke that Illinois needs. They needed it last year, and he obviously broke his foot and missed a lot of the season, 3/4 of the season. He's not going to score much inside the arc. So when he shoots the ball from 3, he needs to go in, and he hit 4 of them tonight to keep Illinois a big one going into the half to cut it down to like a 4 or 5 point lead. So that's the Goode that Illinois needs, and it was good to see from him tonight. The good, the bad.
I do want to give an honorable mention to Quincy Guerrier. Didn't score a single point.
Yeah.
10 rebounds, though.
Yeah.
Again, depending on what Coleman's going to do, you're going to need it. But yeah, I like Quincy Guerrier, and
I do too.
I've been happy to see him on the court the first 3 games of the season. So, yeah, definitely honorable mention. No points, but 10 big rebounds.
We weren't aware Friday night. He had a double-double Friday night. Played really well. I don't know that many people, if any, outside of the program were aware that his, I believe, girlfriend, maybe fiance.
Yeah, fiance.
His partner had their first baby the day before. So anytime that happens, it's like automatic. The dad has a career day the next day or the next game. So yeah, it was good for him. Happy for him, and to see him playing well is great to see. Okay, good and bad. Good.
The good. I will go with the free throws.
Okay.
I will go with the free throw percentage. We'll just start with there.
Oh yeah, I didn't even look.
11 for 13 from the free throw line. This was a good night at the free throw line. I won't use it as my bad, but they need to get to the free throw line more. As I mentioned with Terrence specifically, he did eventually get to the line with 6 for 6, but he was 6 for 6. Mask was 3 for 3. So the free throw percentage tonight was great, but I would like to see especially Terrence getting there more. I think that would be a big thing for this team, because we talked about it. Shooting in general, 3-point shooting, free throw shooting, not this team's strength. But that was a good night. 11 for 13.
Am I supposed to give my good now, or are you going to give your bad?
I don't care. How do you want me to do it?
I'll give my good.
You want me to do a bad?
Do your bad first, because I need a good. I have a bad. I need a good. So do the bad first.
Well, there were some bads. There's a few players on this team, but I'm not exactly sure how they fit into this.
Okay.
I wasn't exactly sure what Justin Harmon was doing at times tonight.
Yeah, he looked lost.
He looked lost.
He did. He looked lost.
Ty Rogers looks lost at times. Ty Rogers had one nice move in the post. For a line drive shot, and then tried it again later, and it was abysmal.
Yeah.
The Dane Danger thing, again, maybe tonight was just a bad matchup for him. I thought that might be a decent matchup for him, but the way they run and gun, I don't know. Dane didn't see the floor hardly at all. We're 3 games in and not seeing much out of him. Dre Gibbs Lawhorn saw 7 minutes, but was essentially ineffective. I'm not saying
I had thoughts about him early in the game.
You need all these guys to be clicking every game, but I would just like to see a little bit more from some of these guys, especially as we get further on into the season. That's kind of it. At times guys just look lost, and maybe that's just because it's still early and Terrence is trying to do too much at times.
I will piggyback off what exactly you just said. because he's trying to do too much. But my Goode is I think he has improved a lot mentally from last season.
I agree.
This again, it's hard to like lump everything because this is game 3. Like we're like a third, not even an eighth of this way into the season. But I feel like he's more of a leader this year. I feel like he's leading the team a little bit better. Yeah, he does go try and get his a little bit too much sometimes, but I'm more comfortable with him doing that than than everyone else on the team taking a shot. I'd rather Terrence do his little breakdown where his favorite move where he breaks him down, hops to the right, and gets that 3 off, even if it's in Hunter Dickinson's face and you got a 7-footer. Like I'd rather him do that than Dre Gibbs Lawhorn chuck up a 3, which he had 3 up tonight, and they were all bad shots. That's to my bad. The shot selection. Brad's thing is I don't care if we're taking that many 3s as long as they're good 3s. And there were some out of system 3s taken tonight early in the game. Dre took multiple. Freshmen, you got to know the situation, dude. Like, I'm not saying you have to earn your shots, but you got to know when's a good time to take a shot. So that's my bad, is the shot selection. I mean, some teams, it's okay to take more 3s than 2s. This is not a team that can do that. They just don't have the shooters to take 30-plus 3s in a game. It just can't happen. So my Goode is the growth of Terrence Shannon, his leadership on the court and taking control of this team, especially when Coleman's struggling because Coleman's a baby when his things aren't going his way. And the bad is some of the shot selection. Ty passed up a wide open layup. Dre took a couple unnecessary 3s. So just got to clean those things up. Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna check the chat.
I was just gonna also, we hadn't talked about it. You gave up way too many layups, and even I don't even know what a good number is for that. But the first half especially. Now, granted, Marquette missed several layups towards the end of this game, so I mean, I guess it wasn't all terrible. But early on, I mean, a lot of it was the pick and roll, but it was just Illinois was taking 3 after 3 after 3 after 3, and Marquette was just making layups right and left. Like there was no defense on any of that stuff. I don't know. Eventually, it kind of worked itself out, and they started missing some of them, I guess. But still, that was just kind of frustrating at the start of this
28 points off layups for Marquette.
Gave up way too many layups.
Okay. We're gonna check the chat. This is the last time I'll check the chat for basketball. We're gonna talk football.
Oh yeah, there's a football game.
For a little bit. So last time checking the chat. Yeah, from Kai. I just kind of touched on this. Coleman's emotions still look like a freshman. Not awesome for one of our seniors to be this up and down. In Coleman's eyes, he never fouls. He always gets fouled if he misses a shot. That's just the way he is. That's the way a lot of the players he watches on TV are. A lot of the NBA guys throw up their hands and football and basketball. So that's just the way things are going right now. St. Dominic's Rosary, I've given up on Coleman. It's totally mental. Has all the physical attributes to dominate. A lot of people just railing on Coleman right now. Okay. Anything else?
I think Coleman will. I think Coleman will get it together.
Yeah,
figure it out. But I understand the frustrations that people have because you would think at this point we would have seen more from him, and we just haven't. So I get it.
The lineup is still coming together because we chased off a bunch of players and brought in a bunch of. Is that mercenaries? Is that what that word is? I don't even know what that means. That's too big of a word for me.
Do you agree with that?
I don't know what that word is. So
besides that point.
Yeah. I mean, it's the era of the transfer portal. Like, we're not gonna get a good grasp on this team till January, because you got Coleman, Terrence, Dane, Luke. Like, is that it? Everyone else is new? Who am I forgetting? Someone? Terrence,
Um,
Ty. Terrence,
Ty.
Ty, Coleman, Luke, and Dane are the five that are holdovers from last year. And Marcus is a starter. He's a new guy. Quincy's a starter. He's a new guy. Dre's a freshman. Amani's a freshman. And Quincy's a freshman. So, yeah, we got time. We got time. Okay. Next up for Illinois is a visit from the Rev, Roger Powell, and the Valpo Beacons come to town Friday night. I don't have the schedule. Is it 8:00?
I think it might be later than that. It might be like at 9:00.
It is Friday though, and it
It is
on
Friday. It's
BTN.
8:00. 8:00 East, 7:00 Central.
8:00 Eastern, 7:00 Central. It is on BTN Plus. I believe it is the final BTN Plus game of the season.
Yes,
But it is not the last streaming game, as Logan
it's true.
mentioned last week. So, I mean, this is a game you got to win by 20, 25. I don't think Roger has a very good team. I think they're picked to finish maybe last in the Missouri Valley. So, it's a game you need to put the pedal to the metal and beat someone down. This team needs that, I think.
Yep, that'd be helpful. Let's beat them down from the start of the game and not.
Yeah.
I quit spotting teams 15 points to start. They didn't do that tonight, which was nice, but that tends to be the MO of these teams, especially against mid-major teams.
You know how many Division I teams there are?
360 something, 330,
362. In Ken Palm, Valpo is 338. So there's that.
What's Eastern Illinois?
That's a good question. 342. So they're worse than Valpo. Ken Palm has it right now at and Illinois dropped in Ken Palm to 29. They were 25. They've got it 75-52 Illinois. So 26 is what Ken Palm has it at. So we shall see. It is Friday night, 8:00 Eastern at the State Farm Center. Anything else basketball?
No.
Okay.
No.
Other scores, I guess we can go over. Champions Classic taking place tonight. Did Duke beat Michigan State by 9, 74-65. Duke beat Michigan State. Any other Big Ten action tonight? Wisconsin got blown out at Providence in another Gavitt games. Tilt, Penn State beat St. Francis, and Northwestern beat Western Michigan by 4 in Evanston. Currently, Iowa and Creighton tied at 43 at the half. So I'm going to go check that one out. And also, Kansas and Kentucky are playing. Kentucky up by 12 early in the second half as we speak right now. Okay, that's basketball. Football, holy cow. Did that happen Saturday? Did that happen?
Yeah.
Did you watch first? Because I know both of us are kind of iffy on the Illini football watching on Saturdays.
I did watch a majority of the game, and I definitely watched the last quarter and a half plus overtime. So yes, I did watch much more of the game than I did the week before. John Paddock, ladies and gentlemen. Have a day, kid.
Heisman.
Do you want to have the conversation that you didn't want to have last week?
I think Bielema has said it. I'm of the camp that you can't lose your job to an injury. But when the dude throws 500 yards, I don't know how he can't start the next game. I mean, I think you have to start with him. And if he keeps it going, you ride the hot hand. But if he starts to, he's not facing Indiana defense. He's facing Iowa defense Saturday. So if things start going sideways, you can put Altmaier in and go back to your read option and kind of switch things up. That's what I think you do. But I'm not a coach. I'm not going to speculate on what they do. I have no clue what's going to happen. If I had to guess, I would say they ride Paddock out and give him a shot. That's
a hell of a story.
It's a hell of a story, and it couldn't happen to a better dude. Like I didn't know the number 4 relevance of his jersey number, which that makes it all that much better. He's 4th generation Illini, so dude, that Saturday was awesome. I turned it off for a second, or late in the second quarter when they went up 2 scores. I was like, okay, I didn't turn it off because Illinois was in the multi-view this week with the good games.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I turned the sound to a different game. I forgot which one was the new, probably Michigan Penn State, and then Illinois scored, and I turned it on and watched the whole second half. I felt the heartbreak coming. Like I felt like an interception in overtime or Indiana scoring a touchdown or something. But Saturday was fun, and now you only need one of the last 2 to go bowling. Northwestern's playing well. Northwestern's 5-5, and of course you're facing Iowa, who's leading the Big Ten West. But this team could easily win them both, but they could also lose them. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. They could also lose both of these games. So it was the first time Illinois beat Indiana in football since 2011. Did you realize that?
No, that's a thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't play all the time.
That's true. But big yikes.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. No, it was a fun Saturday. It's a game that Illinois should have won from the get-go, but they didn't really ever run away from it. But John Paddock, man, just kept them in that thing. 500 and how many yards? 500.
I was 7.
Just
second most in Illini history, most in Memorial Stadium history by an Illini.
To go from the 3 passes the week before to that game, just what a run that man is on. I hope Connor Onion's on the call again on Saturday because he is. I think he's the good luck charm. No, it's probably not. He's the good luck charm. I think it's an FS1 game.
It's an FS1 game, so yeah. It's FS1. It could be like Tim Brando or something.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a nice day. So we'll see.
Good against the pass. Let me look.
Iowa, that defense is obviously good. So we'll just have to see if Illinois can find a way to put up a couple touchdowns. That's all it takes.
Iowa defense
tough.
They are 3rd in points per game at 12.3 points allowed per game. The top 4 teams in the country are all in the Big Ten: Michigan, Ohio State, Iowa, and Penn State. Rushing yards per game, they give up 91 point. No, that's not them. Rushing yards per game, they give up 112. Passing yards per game, they give up 168.8, which is 10th in the country. So yeah, they're pretty stout. On defense. Total yards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th in the country as far as yards go for defense. So, I mean, that's how they win their games. They're what are they 8-2 and they average 10 points scoring per game. That's exaggeration, but that's how they win games. So, yeah, it's gonna be a test. The line opened at like 6. Iowa -6. Now it's down to 3 or 3.5. So
is that the over/under?
Yeah, 6. Yeah, the over/under is 30, which has been the norm for Iowa the last 3 weeks. I would love to see us go in there and Paddock throw 4 more and win 28-7 or something. Oh my God, where's Iowa rank on your hate list? I think they're at the top of mine. I think they're
for basketball. They're at the top. Football, I haven't really cared that much, but yeah, basketball, they're definitely at the top. I mean, they should probably be up there for football too, I guess. I mean, that was my whole theory going into the Penn State game was I didn't really have that big of a interest in either team, but F Iowa. So yeah,
exactly.
They're at the top.
Exactly.
They're at the top.
Okay. Anything else? Football rankings came out today. At halftime of or in between games of the Champions Classic. Georgia jumped Ohio State for number 1. Michigan was 3. Florida State 4, Washington 5, Oregon 6. And the team who shall not be named is in the top 10 at number 9 as a
Saw that.
2-loss team. I don't understand that one. But they're there. I don't think of. Oh, there's a lot of coaching changes. A lot of coaching changes. Texas A&M, Mississippi State. I saw tonight UCLA is expected to fire Chip Kelly.
Yep.
Boise State, and I believe one more that I can't think of right now. I think one more came open either today or recently, but
I don't remember.
I can't think of it.
Yeah.
That's on top of Michigan State and Northwestern as well.
Yeah.
So
the carousel has begun, and probably Michigan. Let's be honest. Because,
speaking of carousel, I've been playing a lot of NCAA football on PS3.
Revamped?
The revamped.
Or
Hell
whatever
yeah.
they call it.
Hell yeah.
Who are you playing with?
So I started my coaching career at, where did I start? Louisiana Monroe.
Oh.
I was there for 2 years. Then I went to San Jose State. And then after 1 year, I got the job at Arizona. I was at Arizona for 5 years.
Wow,
Then I went to Ole Miss. And then I was at Ole Miss for 4. And then I got the job at Notre Dame. So I'm living with you. Sleeping on your couch.
You're welcome. If you're the head coach of Notre Dame, I'm sleeping on your couch, sir. I'm sleeping in your guest house.
I wish the real salary, you got the real salary while you're playing the video game that you get. That'd be super nice.
Sure.
We got a question from Mark here. He says he's 20 minutes behind, so he'll catch this if he listens to the full show.
Kipper
Nichols vibes from Coleman. Loves the idea of being a college basketball player, not so much the actual playing. There was some Kipper Nichols hype when he came in. There was some Kipper Nichols hype. I think Coleman's a little better than Kipper. I think he's a lot better than Kipper, but I don't see that at all.
I think that's really funny. Just to kind of circle back on the Coleman thing, and I know there have been other comments in here about him and why is he an NBA prospect and what yada yada yada. Coleman Hawkins is a very talented player. He can do a lot of things at a size that a lot of people can't do. We just expect him to do more in his 4th season at a Division I school than he's doing.
Yeah.
He is getting NBA looks for a reason. But that reason is not because he's going to be a lights out shooter, lights out scorer. It's the other things. It's the 10 rebounds and 10 assists games that he can have. Those are the things that make him the player that he is. It's still super frustrating to watch him. But the Kipper Nichols thing, that's kind of funny. I hadn't thought about that name in a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I've got.
Anything else?
Nope, that's all I've got.
We doing one of these on Friday or not?
I'm 99% sure that we will not. I will not be in town.
I'm fine with that.
I will be able to do one should something happen. I will have access to it, but
what would happen? If they lose, you won't want to do it.
Yeah, definitely. That's true. So there will not be a post-game show Friday. We will be back. I don't even know when the next game is after that.
They play Friday and then Sunday and then Friday.
Oh wow! Sunday might
be. We're gonna be hit or miss for a few weeks. Let's just get that out of the way now. We're gonna be hit or miss for the next few weeks. Probably until we get into. Well, then the holidays and everything else. So we're not gonna be on here every game. We'd like to be, but unfortunately, our schedules won't allow that. So we'll do it when we can, and we'll make sure to let people know.
For sure. Again, Illinois loses 71-64 to Marquette, number 4 Marquette. Followed to 2-1, back in action on Friday against Valpo, hosting Roger Powell and his Valpo team at the State Farm Center. For Logan, I'm Craig. See you next time.